the studio, to your eyes and ears. Welcome back to a Chiefs Victory Monday. The boys are here.
Look at the energy.
They won 6 hours back. I think my camera fell down a little bit. I got a little violent there. So welcome back
from the screaming.
How were the boys today?
Great. I felt the vibrations from your screams 30 miles away, man. I'm feeling good. But no, Victory Monday. Always great to sit down, talk Chiefs football, especially on a Victory Monday, but I'm good.
Me too. I'm great. Victory Monday is always the best.
That was the worst how are you Victory Monday intro I've ever heard, Keeg. I just want to throw that out there. Now,
before we go any further, Keeg.
I don't know why you ask him. I don't know why we ask him every week. We gotta stop asking.
What's your victory thing?
There's no.
Oh, I don't have anything.
We gotta stop asking.
I need to find something for the playoffs. I don't know what do you do? Carter, do you get a latte?
How are you going to start something at the playoffs? How would you start something at the playoffs?
I said before the playoffs, I said.
Okay. You got three weeks left.
I do. I got 3 Mondays left to figure something out.
You better get it figured out.
I need to.
Boys, what are we talking today?
We got Chiefs versus Texans recap. Crazy game yesterday. Chiefs win 30-24 in overtime. Jake McKinnon with that walk-off touchdown. But let's just jump right into the game. I feel like there's a lot to talk about here. What's your just initial thoughts about the game? Just give me anything. I feel like there's a lot to unravel there.
I mean, the game itself, was it a great game by the Chiefs? No, but no win in the NFL is easy. I'll talk about that later in the pod. I think it's really easy to sit here and say that the Chiefs should have blown this game out by 30 points. The Chiefs shouldn't have been in a one-score game at all. Really, I mean, if you look at the stat sheet just alone, would tell you the Chiefs dominated this game, but the score just didn't show that, and sometimes that's just how it is. But yeah, I mean, still, you get the dub. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I mean, a win's a win, even if it's dirty win. But it's. I'm not expecting a big blowout game from the Chiefs for those next 3 games. I think the Chiefs are saving their best plays and their best stuff for the playoffs. So I think it's going to be a grinding 3 weeks of close football.
No, yeah, I think you both said it pretty well. I like how Bryson brought up the stats. When you look at the stats, the defense gave up 219 yards, 125 passing, 94 rushing. Those aren't bad at all. When you look at the score, it was a 6-point game, a game that the Chiefs had to go to OT and win this thing. And they went off the fumble. But the thing that hurt them the most, 10 penalties and losing the turnover battle. I kind of want to switch gears a little bit and talk about the defense. There's been a lot of criticism of the defense past 2 weeks. I feel like you come away with these wins, you don't really know how to feel about the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And so first I'll let you guys go first. So I don't know how to word the question, but how are you feeling about the defense? You know, the secondary has been struggling as of late. The defense has been getting a lot of criticism. If you check Chiefs Twitter, of course, it's always the talk, but just a lot going on there. But just from your guys' eyes, what do we see?
The Chiefs defense is young, and I think that's something that no one other than Chiefs fans are going to be able to wrap their heads around, because you look at the Chiefs. When you think of the Chiefs, all you think about is, oh, they're the best team in the AFC. Like, they should be able to win all these games by X amount of points, yada, yada, yada. When they're playing these closer games against lesser teams in the NFL, I feel like people are like, oh, well, maybe the Chiefs aren't as good. Maybe NFL's figured them out. Maybe, something happened. But we know as Chiefs fans, the Chiefs are starting 2 rookie cornerbacks. The Chiefs have a very inexperienced secondary. Justin Reed's in his first year in this system, kind of the first time he's ever really been the leader of a defense. So it's a lot of that on top of the Chiefs offense just didn't really help the Chiefs defense in a way, I would say. The 2 turnovers put the Texans in great field position both times. So obviously that doesn't help, especially with an inexperienced secondary, inexperienced defense, but that still no excuses for an NFL defense.
I agree.
Right,
a lot of these guys are in their first or second year with the Chiefs and the Chiefs organization, so it's a growing pains. I know I've probably said that like every week, but it's growing pains. It's going to get better. This defense is scary in a couple of years.
I agree. I mean, this is a defense that relies on 6 rookies to get pretty good amount of snaps. So like Bryson said, or like we both said, there is growing pains with it. But like Bryson said, the offense wasn't helping. Last 2 weeks, we've seen really bad turnovers. And when you have a young and experienced defense and you're putting them in a bad position, I mean, what can you do? But yeah, there have also been a lot. Don't forget to check out the recap from last week. We talked about Spags and how we felt about him. So don't forget about that for real, because I was about to ask that again. But let's go to your biggest positive and negatives from this game.
So personally, my biggest positive from this game, the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. We didn't mention it yet, but Patrick Mahomes had the best game of any player to throw more than 40 passes in an NFL game, completed 36 of 41 passes for 336 yards, 2 touchdowns. Then he had a rushing touchdown on top of that. Wait, no. Yes. But no quarterback in NFL history has had a better completion percentage when throwing the ball 40 or more times in one game. At one point, Mahomes had completed 20 passes in a row. I think that stat kind of just went unnoticed. The man completed 20 passes in an NFL game in a row. That doesn't happen. Stuff that Patrick Mahomes is making look routine and kind of easy, those aren't things that happen, and it's annoying as a Chiefs fan because we appreciate these things and like it's awesome, but we see it so much. I feel like everyone else is like, oh well, Mahomes does that. Like it's kind of like he's penalized for being so good, I would say, if that makes sense. But yeah, my biggest positive is Patrick Mahomes. Anytime he puts on the uniform, playing for the Chiefs have a shot to win that game. It doesn't matter. Defense doesn't show up. Butker misses kicks. Offense turns the ball over. Anytime he's on the field, the Chiefs have a shot to win the game.
My biggest positive, Chiefs' commitment to the run game. Even in this close game, the Chiefs are losing at a couple points. They continue to run the ball to establish that ground game. If you take out Mahomes rushes, we had 28 rushing attempts split between 4 different guys. I love it. Run the ball, ground game is where it's at. Trench work, love it.
Trench work. Interior offensive line, I love it. It goes crazy. Monsters.
I agree. Yeah, my biggest positive was the running backs. The duo of McKinnon and Pacheco could take you far in the playoffs. McKinnon, 70 receiving yards, saw him go crazy last week. Pacheco can do it on the ground. They're starting to feed him more and more. That tandem, really fun to watch.
That takes me to a question. What do the Chiefs running back carries look like come playoffs? What do you expect it? A workload for each Isaiah, Clyde, maybe Jarek, maybe Clyde, maybe doesn't get no snaps. I mean, we saw Ronald Jones on Sunday a little bit as well.
I think come playoffs, I think Jarek gets 60% of the snaps.
Yeah, I think Jerick McKinnon, his snaps will go way up. It seems like when they need someone to step up, they rely on Jerick McKinnon, especially in the passing game. So I think he will have a lot to do with Chiefs playoff run.
I still think Isaiah. I think the workload will look a lot like it did in this Texans game, where Isaiah sees the 16 carries, a lot of the majority of the first half work, and then towards the second half on third downs and kind of pace changing, more implementing Jarek in. But I still think that Isaiah just brings that like extra oomph to the offense, that like extra energy. Maybe not that Tyreek left, not that it's like replicated in Isaiah, but like, that little bit of energy when he's on the field, like the ability to break off, make a big play.
Yeah, for sure. They'll definitely use them when they need to get something going.
Mhm.
My bad, I was about to say McKinnon, but Ham Pacheco ball 4 or 5 times in a row. He just let him drive down the field. Definitely a drive starter for sure.
I would agree. It's big.
Negatives. What's your guys' big negative coming from that game?
So I didn't have one like over glaring negative. I had a couple points that I turned into positives.
Mm-hmm.
So biggest thing, obviously, the 10 flags, 102 yards. That can't happen. That can't happen in the playoffs, especially in a close game against Buffalo, a close game against Cincinnati. But the Chiefs came into that game the third least penalized team in the NFL, so that's not something I'm worried about. The Chiefs fumbled the ball twice. Mahomes didn't throw any interceptions. It's give or take fumbles. They happen in the NFL. I'm not concerned about it. That's Isaiah's second fumble, I want to say, since in the NFL. So not worried about that. I think they clean up. Oh, I'm sorry. Where is it? Where maybe if I can find my spot. But I think people forget it's hard to win in the NFL as well. On Saturday, the Vikings, they were down 30 plus points to the 4-win Colts, ended up pulling out that win. The Eagles beat the Bears, who are currently in place to have the second pick in the NFL draft. They beat them by 5 on Sunday. The Cowboys lost to a 5-win Jaguars team. So it's hard to win in the NFL. So the Chiefs having a close game late in the season. Trap games are a thing. Trap games happen. So just for the Chiefs to get a dub, to take care of business, even after they kind of overlooked the Texans, I would say it's a positive and a negative in and of itself, I would say.
Winning solves a lot of problems.
100%.
What about you, Carter? You got a negative? I know you got a negative.
I have one.
Let's hear it.
In the league as a whole, overall, we are number 1 offense on third downs. But come third and short, we are the worst offense.
3rd and 1, we are terrible.
I knew it.
What's the difference?
What's the deal?
Why is it such a struggle?
Because we decided to run fullback dive on 3rd and 1 every single time, and everyone knows it's coming.
We don't have power backs. We don't have that big, bulky Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley kind of guy.
Hey, get Pacheco.
If we try and run power run plays.
Carter's ranting a little bit.
He was on one at work today. He was upset about that. He
really
was.
Okay.
I respect
the 30-minute session like Carter just going off.
I think once you saw it a little bit with Kadarius kind of, and we saw it with Sky Moore as well, kind of those end around motions. I think with McCole coming back healthy come playoffs, having him back adds another element to the offense. But you saw it in overtime. Kelsey, 3rd and 1. The Chiefs had the designed rollout where the flip out to Kelsey. So it's still there. And I think like Carter talked about in the last podcast and in the beginning of this one, we've kind of seen the Chiefs pull back on those special plays, kind of Andy hiding the bag of tricks, saving whatever for the playoffs. So I think that is another implication. But like Keegan said, them 3rd and 1 fullback dives with Michael Burton. Whenever you come out in I formation and that's the only play you run out of it is that fullback dive, some teams kind of
you never have Michael Burton on the field unless it's a fullback dive. So,
exactly.
They need to start hiding his helmet on 3rd and 1s. But yeah, my biggest negative. I don't like how much Mahomes is getting hit. Before this game, he is the 3rd most hit QB in the league. He's not used to taking that many shots, and it's a long, grueling season. I mean, we got 17 games now. We all kind of talked about the Chiefs. It kind of looks like they're a little bland on offense. They're just trying to get to the playoffs, and you got to do that with your quarterback not taking as many hits. So that's kind of my negative. The offensive line has been up and down all year. We've seen games where they have stepped up, they came through, and Mahomes has had a clean pocket, but other times we've seen them struggle, the tackles. But there's something to eye on for sure. Did anyone else want anything else? I'm just going to ask player of the game, or if anyone has any. Okay. Player of the game, who we got?
I personally had Travis Kelce into the game. I don't know how, first off, we've gone this whole podcast and haven't even mentioned the Chiefs are 7 straight AFC West titles. The Chiefs
They
clinched
are.
AFC West.
Hey.
Haven't mentioned that, but man, absolutely wild. The Chiefs for the best division in football after this offseason. The AFC West is so good. The Chiefs probably going to finish third. 7th straight AFC West title. But Kelsey's my player of the game. Finished the game 10 catches, 105 yards. He passed Shannon Sharp, 4th all-time in receiving yards. He's now 1,700 away from Antonio Gates. Kelsey's just that guy. Him and 1-5, they're always on the same page. Anytime the Chiefs are in a pickle, I feel like Kelsey's there to pull him out of it, making a great play. So, play of the game, Travis Kelce.
My player of the game, Jerick McKinnon. 10 rushing attempts, 52 yards, and a touchdown. And on the receiving side, he went 8 for 8 on his targets, 70 yards, and a receiving touchdown. Man, just looks like he's becoming one of the top pieces in this offense. So, Jerick McKinnon.
I love it.
McKinnon had 21 more snaps than Pacheco yesterday. I found that a little interesting. They rely on him a lot. But I was going to say, back to Bryson, you proved just how used to it we are just winning the West. I mean, we didn't even mention winning 7 straight. I mean, that's just insane. But it just shows how used to it we are. Can't take it for granted. Chiefs have been playing great football lately.
100%.
Player of the game. I got to go Mahomes. Like Bryson mentioned earlier, he named off his stats. 36 to 41. I mean, that's insane. 3 total touchdowns. Just, he does it a lot, but put the team on his back and just has one of those games. It was beautiful football yesterday. I mean, 20 completions in a row. I have to bring it up again. I mean, that's just unheard of. But I feel like no one really talked about it. Just like Bryson said, it's just crazy.
To go back to your point about Jerick McKinnon, I would say Isaiah would have outsnapped him if he didn't fumble that ball. I feel like the Chiefs
That's very true. That's very true.
Fully prepared to give Isaiah 25 carries and just let that man work all game. But once that fumble happened, I feel like that's when they kind of implemented Jerick a little bit more. Kind of, okay, Isaiah, you kind of, you know what I'm saying? But I do agree. Jerick is still that guy. He's still a great big piece of this offense.
Yeah. I do have one more thing before we get into a little bit about next week. I've talked about it a little bit in the past. We'll make this quick. We won't get into it too much. But come playoff time, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you trust Harrison Butker? He's been a little bit in a slump lately.
There we go.
Had the injury.
Yeah,
I have to bring it up. I have to bring it up.
It's where I love to sit down and talk, because I just want to point out that former Chiefs punter Dustin Colquitt was on Twitter saying, this is quote unquote, he's an exceptional punter, talking about Tommy Townsend. If you look back at the holes of the extra point, the hashtag laces are facing the sidelines. On the missed 50-plus yarder, he pulled the ball to him at the last second and forced the ball to go right. He's been missing the spot all year. So, like I have said in recent pods as well in the past, it seems like Tommy's not getting the ball turned. We've seen Harrison kick laces in the past. We've seen the ball just not get fully turned all the way. Is Harrison
last week?
Yeah, is Harrison? He didn't miss last week.
Are you sure?
No, he didn't miss against Denver because he was my player of the game. And I'm actually done calling Harrison my player of the game, because the past 2 times I've been like, Harrison's back. He's not missing a kick at knockout, but then he comes out, misses the kick. But all love to Harrison. I do still think that you can't miss kicks in the NFL. You can't miss kicks comes playoffs. But to stop all the Chiefs fans on Twitter, show me a kicker that you can sign right now that's better than Harrison Butker, and I'll be okay with it. But you can't. Harrison's arguably the second best kicker in the NFL. 10 out of 10.
Ain't going anywhere. So
Tucker missed 3 himself this Saturday. So
that's very true. It's very true.
Bring that up. How confident are you in Tucker? Like, just saying, kickers miss.
I agree. What about you, Carter? You said 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Not worried.
No, yeah, just like Bryson said, what kicker is going to be better? I mean, kickers, I think since Harrison's been a Chief, see him make it at such a high clip. And now he's been missing. Last year he had the PAT problem he was starting to miss, but this year he's missed 4 or 5 field goals. You usually don't see that from Butker, but it could be a holding thing. Dude also had an injury. They have mentioned that. But what kicker are you going to bring in that's better than Harrison Butker? We went 5 weeks without Harrison Butker, and we almost went crazy. So
we went through 3 kickers, and not one did better.
And I mean, we were going crazy. But like Bryce said, you can't miss the game winner he had. That's inexcusable. You can't miss that. I also get the laces right and been a thing, but the whole special teams is a group. You can't be missing field goals, but especially come playoff time, every point counts. So you get something right there. But Tommy also tweeted. He didn't tweet back out at Colquitt, but he tweeted something, and he said, "Andy always says so don't listen to people that are outside of the clubhouse." And he was like kind of a right back at you, Dustin Colquitt thing. But who knows? But I mean, when the laces are turned, it's never a good thing. I mean, that's just obvious. Going into the next week, Chiefs play on a Saturday. We have a Saturday football game, Christmas Eve. It's supposed to be absolutely freezing cold in Kansas City. Probably be a little bit of snow, I think. I don't really know.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I choked up there. How excited are you guys for that matchup? Seattle lost that Thursday night game, so their playoff hopes, I mean, they're still alive for sure. But if they would have won that Thursday night game, this game would have been huge. But still, Seattle's been playing great football. So I think it'll be a really fun game. But how do you guys feel? Just first thoughts.
Geno's definitely came back down to earth, I would say, from his play at the beginning of the year. I don't think that's arguable. It's just how it's been. Absolutely gassed up for this game because I will be there. I'm gonna be at Arrowhead at 7 a.m, ready, tailgating, freezing. I don't care. I am locked in. I just need a Chris Jones touchdown. That's all I want. That's all I'm asking for. But no, I'm gassed up. I think it'll be a great matchup for the young corners against a very good wide receiver core. So yeah, but Kenneth Walker coming to town, but MV Pat, I'm excited.
I think it's gonna be a great game. I don't know how else to explain it. They're back here in Kansas City. It's gonna be cold. It's hard for teams to hear anything anyways in Kansas City, and they're gonna be freezing. It'll be a great game. It'll be great. Do we see snowballs like we saw in Buffalo, Miami?
Yes. Bryson's going there, so he's got to come through.
I'm launching snowballs.
Let's go.
Hey,
I'm getting
Tyler
kicked
Lockett,
out.
DK better watch out, man.
Watch out. I also take back Chris Jones. It's a Frank Clark revenge game, so I want a Frank Clark receiving touchdown on Saturday.
Receiving touchdown?
I need it. Call him Dontari Poe out there.
Yeah. Imagine you put Frank in the backfield. You see him come out in fullback and he just throws a little pass. I would go crazy.
Telling you.
I wouldn't know how to feel if they put Frank on offense. But yeah, definitely intriguing matchup. It's fun. Patty versus that young defense, but that defense has looked really good. Tyreek Woolen has looked amazing. Yep. So a really exciting game. And Christmas Eve, snow, cold football. I mean, I'm already hyped for it.
What more could you want?
Exactly. A Chiefs dub. That's what I want.
I need it. I need the Chiefs defense to right Geno.
Yeah, it's definitely a game they can bounce back on defense. I mean, like you said, Geno's definitely come down to earth. Definitely could get a turnover too. But mainly in the cold, they're gonna feed Kenneth. So get your defense right and stop them.
Nick Bolton, Willie Gay, hopefully step up. Defensive line goes crazy. Plug up some holes.
I need it.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Anything else?
I don't know. Hit us up. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're there. We're everywhere. Anywhere you listen and get your podcast. Amazon, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever site you're using right now to listen to this podcast. We're there. We're on it.
Might be. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. We don't really know. But Big Cartel /816 Hour for the awesome merch. Christmas season is here. some great Christmas presents to rep your favorite podcast and to support your hometown Chiefs.
Big. When are you going to come up with a rap for that? I'm just waiting.
It's in the works.
Carter, drop the beat. And he just starts rapping the outro. I'd go
Just
crazy.
one time we're gonna be like, all right, Carter, outro, and you just see him being like, all right, hold up. Hear him click play and he's
gonna lay it down. I'm telling you, we got to get Carter on the beat.
I need it,
boys. Victory Monday. Already, are we going into week 16? That's big.
So fast.
That's big.
Just started.
And for some, seasons have just ended. The 816 Hour Bowl. Carter, we weren't going to go through a whole podcast and not mention this. The 816 Hour Bowl. First round of the playoffs. Me versus Carter. My squad. Oh, my squad said, nah, we ain't going down like this. We ain't going down. Took the dub. Moving on. We see another matchup. We shall see. Hopefully Keeg makes the non-consolation.
We don't have to talk about my playoffs.
I'll joke.
We don't have to bring up. No one needs to know how I did in the playoffs. Okay, it's just.
Well, we'll talk about it next time. Boys, we got anything else?
No.
Enjoy your victory Monday. Good night, Carter. Have a good night, sir. We out.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.